There's this beautiful kind of like relationship between what we know about what a dance is and what we don't know about what a dance could become. And I think that's one of the really interesting things about the combination of science and art, or art in other contexts. I'm not an expert in AI, but I understand through the work that we're doing how we might be able to use and partner with AI to do something really interesting creatively. I was interested in how you compose with an algorithm and what does that look like and what does it force you to think about differently. I wanted to have the whole of my DNA sequenced, and you look for patterns in that structure, and those patterns affect the way in which the organization of the dance structure works. So this piece rearranges itself, so the potential variations are absolutely huge. You never get the same thing twice. We wanted to start building a way of writing that was again working with AI as a tool, as a creative partner, to generate new predictive ideas from a phrase of movement. So in the same way that you get predictive text, how is it that if I start a phrase of dance, how might the AI be able to take that phrase and give me many more permutations? And we've been able to use that as a process tool in the rehearsals to create novel new language, where this predictive algorithm helps us find new ways of thinking about moving the body.
The story is being created live by the dancers in response to this algorithm determining, what order they're doing the piece in. Because we don't know how the piece is going to be ordered and which dancers are going to be dancing each section, the dancers have to make a decision in real time based on what's just gone before and what's playing out next, how the story is implied by the context.
When I'm thinking about me understanding the human body, because of imaging now, I'm able to look at the biomechanics of a body in a technological way that helps me develop my technique. So I wondered how we might be able to use dance as a way of interrogating a relationship between body and landscape, taking maths out of a body and using that data set to translate it into environment. So what we tried to do in Harnasie was look at how can we have the landscape move? How is it that we actually can give a new type of motion to landscape to physicalize it in an interesting way? And vice versa, how is it that if we go closer and closer into a body, it becomes like a terrain or a topography that we're able to look at? There's a process called motion capture, and you've probably seen that in movies where stars wear their little motion capture suits with dots all over their bodies. And what that's doing is it's taking joint angles and force and precision, all this mass out of the body that you can then render in another form. So you can take all of that maths and replicate it exactly the same as another body, or you can take that maths and give it to something that's very unexpected.
I was kind of interested in how live action footage would potentially be reinterpreted by AI for us to create something new. The AI manipulated footage tries to bring an abstractness, actually tries to tease out qualities that we understand as humans, but we might not actually be there within the recorded footage, the live action footage. It's potentially a bit too literal. And as humans, we're often thinking in abstract senses. We think in emotions, we think in tones. Our memories are kind of blurry and diffuse. So some of that is actually trying to kind of humanize some of this very kind of perfect digital footage, and paradoxically is using AI to do that.
We're all communicating without words all of the time. And we are very sophisticated at understanding something about the relationship of a body through non-verbal cueing. Yeah? And that is this kind of physical empathy that we have with another human being. That's one of the beautiful things about dance, that actually, because it's beyond words, we're using other mechanisms to tell aspects of story. Universe really is a felt sense of climate change or the danger of climate change or the potential of hope in finding climate change solutions, rather than saying in a descriptive way, these are the challenges.
Universe, A Dark Crystal Odyssey, it's inspired by the Jim Henson piece, The Dark Crystal. So you already have these characters who are kind of archetypes. So in a way, we really wanted something that both honoured and touched base with the original, but also really released the power of its ecological message for an audience today, where you have the kind of evil Skeksis who sort of represent a kind of rampant, extractive, exploitative capitalism. And then you have these gelflings who are very close to the earth and very intuitive, very instinctive. And because they're close to the earth, their instinct is to save and to protect. And crystal, how I read it very much, is that the crystal is, in a sense, that balance, that harmony that is integral to nature, but that has become disrupted. In dance particularly, our work is all around the body. But of course, nowadays, the idea of self and of the body, where our self sits, where consciousness sits, how we are in control or how we may be responding to technological stimuli, all of that is changing our perception.
Science is becoming much more communicative for the layperson to understand. I'm not an expert, but I understand through the work that we're doing how we might be able to use science to do something really interesting creatively. And that cross-pollination, I think, is where science and art, or art in other contexts, works really the best.